Boom! The 78th IWAR Gold Strategy Workshop. That's my cook. Or over there, I guess. No, that way.
Yeah.
I'm Matt Riley. This is the show where we break down the possible options to happen in gold. This will be for the July cycle. So the good news is there's not that many options. The bad news is there are not that many options. So I'll
You
let
say
Mike.
that there's actually like four times what there was last cycle. So
Right.
it's
I
different.
did
Yeah.
I did so well
But
last cycle with 2 leagues and little else. I was like feast or famine. That's all there is. All right. So what are we looking at?
yeah.
Oh, can you boost the screen a little bit, or
Yeah.
us with the
Yeah.
tired ass
Yeah.
eyes?
Whenever I'm filling it out, I always have to put it back though. Because I can't work like this.
All right.
I can share.
So we're gonna go with a double 25 drop.
Sure.
They'll never see it coming.
All right. Let's start with the front, and we'll show how quickly we're going to cross these off because
Here you go.
last gold 29.27 takes away 4 options. The 2 cycles ago took out 28.27, 4 options.
Mm-hmm.
Iron took out 28.26, which is 4 options. Steel took out 27.26, that's 4 options.
Oh my
And
God.
46.41's out because that was the, let me write it right here so we have it as a reference. 1 and 46 or 45?
46.
46, okay.
Yeah.
Double checking. They were both here. I wanted to make sure I didn't mess that up. Okay, so we are down to 10 total. 3 of those being the 3 potential double drops. So this looks like a cycle. If we were going to have the 4th one of the year, very well could be now. I'm still going to make the assumption that they wouldn't do a 4th one at this point, and I'll be wrong if they do. But yeah, I feel like that's a big potential hit, big failure type for all 3 of these. So, we've shown before over here. It's extremely rare. What was it, like 1 out of 7 years has had a 4th one? Just not worth chasing that, in my opinion. So I would probably not go all in on any of these
Don't go
and
chase a
stay in
lot.
this 29 area.
Yeah. So you heard it here
And
first, folks.
yeah,
Darren's right. Do the double drops.
yeah. I mean, like I said, you could hit off of one, but it's big risk as well. So I don't want that. Okay, so he said you're welcome to do these. I wouldn't recommend it. Leave us with the 29.28 and 29.26. Both have happened this year. Very similar in a lot of regards because we're really looking at the difference of 1, 8, 5, and 22.
Mm-hmm.
Notice the one hold in that being 22. I'll default to, when we have this many backs, I tend to just use 22. You see, it's besides 25, it's still our second best gold hold.
Right.
And it's probably due for a 25 soon, but if I had to use a tiebreaker, which we probably will since there's so many backs, that's one I just typically try to use. And if you did that, you'd be down to 3 options here and 2 here.
Right.
So I think that's pretty good right there. Not sure. So 29.28 was a little more recent. but 26. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what tiebreaker you'd use besides deciding if you like another hold outside of like in 22.
Right.
But yeah, I think if you went with probably try to go with like two of these and leave room for more backs. I wouldn't mix like 29, 28 and 29, 26 with four fronts and anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really lock in and just go with one side of that. But that's where I would be on the front.
Okay.
So you are right. That's pretty easy there. The issue is you have a lot more on the back because all
No.
16 are
No.
available. Yep.
Why?
Yeah. So we started off the third straight cycle where iron and steel were opposite of each other.
Yeah.
And as we talked last cycle, it's still, it's not happened enough over the past, 2 years with so many that were just consistent across all six that we have a really strong grasp on what it'll be.
Okay.
Um, a few things I looked at. So we had the three in a row, one and one here. You see, there's a few stretches where we've had a lot. Only one of them
Mm-hmm.
had, two kind of chains together. That makes me think 41s, we know they're safer anyway in general because
Right.
you're more likely to at least get a 43, 42 versus a 44, 41
Right.
potentially. But I do think there's a greater than 50% chance that it's a 41 this time. So I think you can probably go that route, and that would take you from the 16 down to the 8 and in a pretty good spot.
Okay.
Um, let's look at 61. Yeah, like 61. That's not a great hold. It used to be like I mean, it was really good here, but yeah, that's
Right.
rough the last couple years.
Yeah. What's the other one?
And you see,
66.
yeah, you see the 44 down. There's no little immediate bounce back on any of these. It's long stretches in between.
Yeah.
So I think that's a safe one to not use. And 66 is the other. It's a little better. So if you do want to go with the 42, probably go 66. But yeah, I just prefer both of these a little more, the 41s.
Yeah.
No real preference because, like you see, 65, it has stretches where it's good and then it can be one off and be right back. It's done it a few times. So very possible there. And 85, it looks like it's had its worst. And maybe it's one that's getting better. So,
Yeah.
yep. I think I'd go with a 41 this cycle. I feel like you're going to be more consistent throughout all your strats with it.
Yeah. Like it
And
was
like I
the
said, it's not,
points.
yeah, definitely.
Take the
They,
field goal. Take the
they
points.
matter. Yeah. Especially what contests are going on. That point can make a huge difference. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, yeah, I meant to ask a side note outside the
Mhm.
game. You're meeting a fellow player in the game this weekend.
Mhm.
What I have to know is, are you guys going to work on strategies when we're at the baseball game?
Probably. And then I'm going to write about it in my Hall of Fame next cycle.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Since, yeah.
I'm still telling you, you should get him in trouble with the, security. That guy's actually one of the players.
I don't. I don't think their security cares.
That's yeah. Well, you should know if you were going to Cleveland, the East Lake Captains are a very affordable ticket. So just saying. All right. So there we go. We have our 41s for if we're gonna go again, yeah, I did last cycle I went 41s and it kind of hurt, but that's okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
say we'll even keep all seven of these up here. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say that's 7, and we are going to go with the 41s. That's 8. So you see, we're down to 56 options. So that we're within a reasonable range.
56, just
And
56.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but like I said, as soon as you pick one side of this, then you cut that in half again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we do know 14 and 15 on the previous 45s.
Yeah.
You're pretty safe to put 90 at 14 and 63 at 15. And that leaves us with the 41, 40. I'm sorry, 44, 43.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably, I feel like that's the tougher area. Um, Usually the logic is don't use the 2 and the 2 because it's the rarest of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll notice it's typically about 5 cycles in between. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 in between, 1, 5. So it's sort of 5 outside of when that huge one happened here
Right.
that is happening, and we're right at 5. So I would consider the 2 a very valid option. Um, I almost think the 44-2 happening has a pretty good chance anyway because yeah, you look and just that stretch is pretty uncommon. If it doesn't happen, then I think we go the opposite way and we just use the 1 until it misses, like one of these.
Right.
But it's at the point where it has a good chance to switch right now. Just these kind of balance themselves out over time. So if I wanted to cut these 8 down, I'm probably going to use the 44-2 over the 44-1 this cycle.
All right.
Um, but I kind of like leaving those open. So I got 12 strats, so I'll probably pick one of these that I like the most,
Yeah.
and I'll use all 8 combinations of the 41s with it. And then the second one, I'll use just the 2, which will be 4 backs with the
Okay.
41. That's usually how I do that. And let's see. I want to read off these results just to show that I wrote them
Oh.
down. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. So I've had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last 9 cycles, I've had 6 with the 501. I had 2 gold feds, 2 edged for gold fed, edged for US, a women's world, a women's US, and a couple other things, regional, a few things like that. So it's a good method. Yeah.
Well, hey, it's funny because I updated the our IWAR Gold Strategy Workshop like ad page, and I
Mm-hmm.
added a quote from Jamie, and because he was like, "I'll testify," and again, like we try to put the most we hopefully is our best assumption, but
Mm-hmm.
as we always say, the other way can always just be like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, there's not an exact science, so
Yeah.
it's lean towards things that have a greater chance, which sometimes isn't great. It's still 50, 60% at best, and
Right. 60% of the
uh,
time, it works every time.
exactly,
So,
and that's true.
yeah.
And we won't talk about the other 40.
No, I was
'Cause-
saying like, on my own strategies, I had a really great cycle overall for most of my
Mhm.
guys, scoring wise. I think it was maybe my second or third highest, like, my competitive singles wrestler scores are always added up and averaged. And I think I had the second or third highest I ever got. And I had 2 leagues, but again, it's such a hyper competitive league and atmosphere and federation that didn't win anything report wise. But you always look, well, I'd rather be on the end of like a 500, 499 loss as opposed to like a 500 to 482, um, just wildly swinging at the fences. You might
Yeah.
pull a Rob Deer and hit him
Yes.
out of the park, but
Mhm.
we always push for like using your best judgment. Uh, but I would say like if you sit there and go, well, I'm going to ride the 26s, you're welcome to do that. and you might hit a 500 or a 498 or something down the line when 26s do drop. But until then, you're going to be a schmo.
Yeah, like
You're
if
going to be a
you
goddamn
if you did
schmo.
that, like you see this one, it went 21 cycles, it went 14. You could be wrong the next, basically till this time next year. You could actually be wrong, and
Yeah,
that'd be a miserable time. So
right.
yeah,
Yep.
probably that's the big reward, big risk on these right now, and I'll never take that. I'll accept the miss when it happens because it shouldn't happen. But
Right.
as you said, just when you say that, that's when it happens. But no,
I mean,
it's
here's the way I look at it. Like, if you want to sit there and say, well, okay, well, what if I have, like, I've done this in the past where I would say, like, I'll have one of my guys take this drop.
Mhm.
Well, you can do that. You can have someone like one of your guys take that random, like, double 26 drop or whatever. But what I've noticed is I usually give the guys I give that drop to are not my top tier guys. And you know what they
Mhm.
never do? They almost never, ever win big.
Yeah.
Like Jim Spur is one of my guys that I kind of just throw like the bottom barrel strats to, or used to always do that, and he would never hit it big. Um, and the guys that I do, put my best strategies into, Atari, Cash, Stevens, Tanaka, are the ones who are like cranking out consistently, more points by winning titles. And I've seen a lot of guys lately in the NWL talk a lot about, well, I want to break this record. I want to break that record. I want to have the most points. And what happens a lot is by the time you realize how to play, like these workshops
Mhm.
make sense. Like you're not reading the walls and uh, the matrix. You can actually see what they're saying. Uh, it's too late. You're already on the way
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And some of the guys have really done well and like jumped on board and we had some really good scores come out in NWL. Really, we did. Uh, but we do these just to help people hopefully do better.
Mhm.
Um, it's also kind of for us, it's like it's working out, kind of like in your head, like, oh, okay, this is what I'll do. And I would say that what we do mostly is we second guess ourselves because you say, oh, well, what if this
Oh
happens?
yeah. 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 I learned a long time ago. Don't change what you've done. There's a few times where I've changed it, and it's literally cost me a world title because
Yeah.
I did it once.
Yeah. I just feel like what happens is you hit the idea of like, well, what if this happens? Well, you can hit almost any aspect of life. Well,
Hmm.
what if a black hole opens up underneath my house? Well, that could happen, but let's just go with it's going to be a normal day. What do the
Hmm.
patterns show us? And that's what you do. You follow it and kind of guess
Yeah.
and play along and outguess everyone else and outpick everyone else. And hopefully, now I'm imagining you're going to be, I can see like you're in the stands and you have your baseball program to keep the score of the game. And then you
Mhm.
start writing out a strategy and you're like, oh, wait a minute. What if I take the 26s? Oh, anyways, I think it'll be fun. But
Stop.
now didn't you meet Luke a couple years ago at SummerSlam or something like
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I had a. It was weird. Like they talk about how WWE sells so many tickets. Theirs were buy one get one free to SummerSlam.
that? No, where
So I had this extra ticket, and I was like, I got to use this. And yeah, nobody could really go. And I remember in the chat, he was like, "Oh, I live outside of Nashville." So yeah, met him there.
yeah, Alex and I have talked about doing an IWAR con type thing where we just
Mhm.
pick like SummerSlam or WrestleMania and we just or some event and we just show up and whoever shows up shows up. Um, I know there's about 6 players in Massachusetts. A couple of VRL guys. I see a name every so often as a guy who's in the state events. He's in Massachusetts. And I'm like, oh, and back when I was a kid, we used to get together a bunch of us who were local and we go bowling. We'd go to shows. It's fun. But hope you have a good time. But all of which is to say, I think we pretty much got all we covered, right? There's nothing else really to
Mhm.
cover.
Yep. No questions.
It's
Did I
just
put one?
standard stuff, the 25s, the 41, 42.
Yeah. We didn't say the previous 2 cycles ago. So the 146. Um, Yeah, it's still, look at this. It's not to where I would say there could be a yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Based on this, there's not going to be two no's, or I'm sorry, two yeses in a row. But it's so different than what it was before that
Right.
that I'm not sure that I would still trust it to actually use that as the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
If you do, though, I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy tiebreaker then.
Yeah.
But I'd rather do the, if I'm going to go 29, 26, I like 22 more than trying to guess this. So I'd be on the side right here.
Right.
Up here, though, yeah, maybe use it as a tiebreaker. But yeah, so pretty much what we're saying, 45 or 46. You pay attention to those. So 46 would be the back to back one there, which isn't something that it's actually really done before.
Right.
So that would be a strike against it as well. So yeah, I think you're probably, whatever strat you take, I would say you're taking 45 off. But,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
so literally, if I do something like that, the first thing I look at when the holds come out is just hold 45, and I can tell you if I'm going to do well or not.
I did it last
It's that
cycle. Like,
easy.
what were the
Yeah.
drops?
You know that one hold that you went all in on missing, and yep, just look at it, and then you'll know.
Yeah. No, it,
Yep.
it was last cycle. I saw somebody puts up the page. I just clicked the image, zoomed in. It's like, okay, I got the drops now. Well, let's play the game of, I guess, the right backs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
How's my flow? Terrible, terrible. It's all right. All right. Well, all right. I will say good luck to everybody. You have a good
Mm-hmm.
time at the baseball game with Jeff, and we'll see you all. I'll be doing this next show from Gen Con if all goes well. So asterisk, asterisk. We'll see how that goes. Indianapolis. So,
Yep. Yep.
all right. Well, thanks a lot, Mike.
All right.
All right,
See ya.
guys. Good luck. And yeah.